So I'm coming to you from my new chair. I'm loving this chair, by the way. Anyway, so today I'm using the RS60Rs and RS60 by. I got this uh, projector. I'm not big on, that kind of creative stuff, but I know a lot of you are. So I wanted to try this. A lot of people were asking me about this. So this is the very first time I'm using it. Um, and I wanted to see how it did because, those big projectors, I always have them, but I rarely pull them out because they're such a pain in the ass to use. This one is actually pretty decent, and the optics on it are better than I thought they would be. I don't like the way the gobo goes in. It just slides in without, I don't know, just lays in here and it doesn't connect somehow, unless I'm missing something, which, you should probably read the directions before you use it. But we just grabbed some and tried them with the shoot to see what we can do with it and have fun with it. So today we're going to do that. We're going to learn about using this thing and see how we do with it. And then we'll go over the lighting and how I set it up and why I set it up that way. And hopefully I'm right. Because I haven't looked at the images yet. We just got done shooting and it was fun. And this thing, you could focus this and everything. It's actually kind of cool, and it's really, really well made. But anyway, this is for the RS60Rs. I don't know if it fits on any other of Godox devices or not. That would be nice if it did, but it's probably wishful thinking. Anyway, let's get to the shoot and we'll go through the shoot, see what we did, how we did it. Today I'm using the Leica SL3 with the Sigma 50mm f2 DGDN contemporary lens. I love the contemporary lenses on the SL bodies. I just think they're spectacular. They have that jewel kind of effect, because they're metal and really well made. I don't pixel peep lenses, but these are pretty sharp and very impressive normally when I'm using them. So anyway, that's what I'm using today. If you have any questions, leave them below. But this is a fun, creative kind of shoot, and I'm hoping that we got some creative shots that are worthwhile keeping. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions, leave them below.
I want to make this video more about, the artistic styling kind of lighting versus the product itself. But the product is obviously part of it because, it's the first time I'm using it. And I wanted to see how it did. And I was honestly kind of impressed with this thing. The build quality is the first thing that I noticed, which is incredible. Like the light, or the lens in it really is an impressive lens. The sharpness that you can get out of this thing, or the softness, without color fringing, I loved. I just think they did this so well. Now, the very first couple images here, this is out of camera because I wanted to show you, this is the issue with LEDs. Each LED was set to say 5800 Kelvin, but as you can see, because the modifiers on them, they're all different colors. I had 3 different colors coming out of 3 different lights. So I used that data color meter to measure the color with the modifiers on them, and I fine-tune each light to the same color temperature that the data color meter is telling me. And the difference is night and day, obviously. This is warm. These have to be, fine-tuned, but at least I'm getting the same color out of each light now. Because no matter what you put on the light itself, the LED, say you dial in, a color temperature on the LED, it's always different than what it actually is, which is what drives me crazy. And the data color meter helps me match that and get even light color-wise throughout the 3 different lights. Now, getting back to this projector, amazing. I mean, the sharpness on the edges blew me away because I'm used to using that big Bowen's mount one, and the lens on it is not close to what this one is, because when I did the sharp edge on this, because I wanted a sharp edge in the photos, there was no color fringing or chromatic aberrations around the edges. It was just a sharp edge. And I always get that horrible look on the other one, the bigger ones. I mean, even an expensive one, I just get these horrible edges. With this, it's a sharp, solid edge, and I loved it. That's when I was like, okay, I'm kind of enjoying this right now, because that's why I don't enjoy the bigger ones on the Bowens mount. Not only because they're unruly heavy and a pain, but they're just not great as far as edges. And if you want to put edges in this, even with the gobos, this gives you that hard, solid quality edge. Now, before you ask, this is the X-Drop Pro by Westcott, the backdrop, because everybody always asks me this, and I always forget to put it in the videos and the description. I love the X-Drop Pro. I like it so much, I got another one for the car. So I use this in the studio more than I thought I would. So I'm going to leave this up all the time now. And then the one for the car I'll have. Now, the wrinkles in here is because I don't have the bars fully opened. I apologize for that. But I was just using the center parts. I didn't really care. But yeah, this backdrop system actually pulls the cloth tight. These were folded. This is the first time I'm using these designed ones, if you will, from Westcott. I never tried them before, so I wanted to try them. I do love them, and I wasn't sure that it would work great for the gobo either. Now, this pattern she picked, I don't like it. And then she's blaming me because she's like, if you didn't have it right, it would look better. She's probably right. But I tried it with a hard edge and then a soft edge. It was okay. I mean, it gives a cool look. But I'm sure, like, this can be done a lot better than I did it here with that pattern. I don't know. Now, I made it blurry just to see if I liked it a little bit better. Yeah, I didn't. So some of the gobos you're going to love. Some of them you're going to go, I don't know. It's an okay look. It's just tacky to me. Anyway, so now I'm going to get rid of the gobo and use the blades. The blades that are built in are amazing because you can get these slivers of lights. You can get shapes of lights. You can do whatever you want with it. So I think that's kind of cool too, which I think I would use even more than I would the gobos themselves, like having that sliver of light, because I do that quite often. And this makes it convenient because it's such a small projector compared to the big ones that we have. For me, even if you didn't want the full Godox RS60 series of lights, this would be nice just as a backdrop. So in other words, you're using your 500 watts or whatever you're using, your favorite LEDs, but having this little RS60 with this projector on it just for your backdrop kind of looks, I think would be worth it alone. It's small, it's manageable, it's easy to use. So that may be an option for you as well. Just get one of the RS60s with this projector and use this for your backdrops, and then use your favorite LEDs if, these aren't it for you. But I do love their system. I think it's fantastic, the RS60 line. I'm using them more and more, and I use them with my Westcott ice lights more than I thought I would as well. Now, I'm trying one of the window things here. I never liked this look, but I convinced myself that I can, if I work with it enough, I can get a look that I'm going to like. And I think I did. I think I got some looks that I'm kind of happy with. By the way, I did put the grid on that little softbox so it wouldn't spill on the backdrop as much, because I moved that main light towards the backdrop just a little bit more, and it was falling on the backdrop, so I used the grid on that just to prevent it from falling on the backdrop and keep that look going. I'm actually shining it on her. I never do this. I wanted to see how it looked, so I have that gobo actually shining on her. It's not bad. I think it's kind of cool. I think a lot more can be done with it, a little bit softening and so forth. I'm just going to zoom in here really quick. I want to show you this lens. This is that Sigma 50mm DGDM Contemporary. I love those lenses. They're so sharp. They're ridiculously sharp, actually, but I do love them, and I use them all the time. They look great on the camera too. It's just, it's like having a Leica lens in the Sigma series, because they're all metal and just built so well. I just wanted to share that with you because I do love that line. Anyway, getting back to this, the harder edge, I think, was, I could have softened that up quite a bit more. I think it's still a little bit too hard behind her and too small. I should have widened it out just a little bit, which would have, I think would have given it a better look. I also think, like, warming it up like this, I do like this better as well on the backdrop. I just wasn't sure how this would look, but I think a little bit more blur, and adding that fog machine I showed you guys the other day would have really, set this off. If I just added just a touch of fog into this, I think it would have gave really a cool look and some depth. I don't know, just my idea. Now, I'm just moving this back and forth just to see if it's a different look or, if I like it. I'm playing because, like I said, I don't use these all the time. And when you're using something like this, the best thing you can do is play. Don't think about anything, just move it around, play with it a little bit, get the different looks, and see what you like. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Now, I'm just using that gobo as a round spot behind her just to light the backdrop just a little bit, give that center spot kind of lighting in the on the backdrop. Nothing major, nothing and I defocused it quite a bit so I wouldn't have a hard edge. I just wanted it to fall off on the backdrop, and it did. It gave me the look that I was looking for. And I love the color that I dialed into it. It's very, very cool. Now, this is the only time where I got like just a little bit of a soft yellowish kind of look because of the warmth that I added to the light. And that was the only time where it fell off just a little bit in the center of the color of it. But I still liked the look, so I didn't mind. Now, I'm adding the main light. I should have put the grid on it. I didn't, but I feathered it quite a bit, so it doesn't matter. But I was losing her skirt in her whole lower half with this shot. I wanted that spotlight kind of look, just that brown light, but without that second light hitting her skirt, it just went away. It was just like a floating head. Anyway, thanks for watching.